Number 1. What's the degree, Carlos? 8th degree? No. Plato. 6th degree is correct. How'd you get that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Okay. No, you stop right there. Stop with that. Yep. Yes. Even. What's a negative times a negative? Tricky. That one was tricky, so we should go up, up on the end behavior. And do we need anything else here? We need the zeros, okay. We'll find out here. So your first 0 is what? 0. The next 0 is, I agree. And then let's solve it and see what we get. Is x by himself yet? No. Divide both sides by -1. X equals and last but not least, +4. The end behavior is up, up. Do I have any hard turns? I sure do. At -3 and at 4. And now I can connect the dots. There it is. So be careful with these. You kind of have to be on the lookout for these factors with a negative x. Go ahead and set that up as an equation and solve it and see what the factor is. Okay. Great question.
Okay, so I thought when you x out the 2 negatives right there, you said negative because the negative is a positive. But why don't they turn to a positive with the -1?
Right. 2 separate processes. The first process is this polynomial going to be positive or negative? And I'm not really canceling these out. I'm saying a negative times a negative is positive. So as a whole, this whole thing would be positive. But this individual factor is still negative. Good question. Other questions on the number 1? Number 2, simplify by either multiplying or dividing. So A is a multiplication problem. So all I'm doing is multiplying these 3 monomials together. Start by multiplying the coefficients. So 3 times 4 times -2. What do you get for that? Yep. Yep. What do you do with the x's? Yeah, add the exponents. 1 plus 1 plus 4 is x to the 6th. So let's just stop and make a quick note there. What did we do? In multiplication, what did we do with the exponents? Yep. We've been doing that all year, but just a little refresher. And the y's will be y to the So just to make sure you understand what's going on here. 1 plus 1 plus 4 is 6. 4 plus 4 is 8. So we're adding exponents there. Come over here and it's no longer multiplication, is it? Now it is division. Now it's a fraction. So start with the coefficients. Does 2 have a partner to reduce with? So he stays. Can you reduce the x's? You sure can. And in multiplication, you add exponents, but in division, do you remember what you do? Yes.
So it's x to the what? X, just an x.
Just an x, and does it go in the numerator or denominator?
The numerator.
Yeah, it goes wherever you had the highest exponent. So what's higher, 4 or 3? 4, so put in the numerator. Okay, so the variable,
Y to the power. Like this.
variable goes, where do we put the variable? Yep. Where the higher exponent was. And this is crucial key information right here. Very important. Okay, and now for the y. Y to the 4th and y to the 1st. So yep, 4 minus 1 is 3. Where does y to the 3rd go? It also goes in the numerator because that's where the highest exponent was. Now, it'd be best to kind of centralize this 2. Yes, ma'am. That would be incorrect. That would be incorrect, yep. 2 needs to stay in the denominator because that's where it started, and it didn't have any partner to reduce with. So all I'm doing is reducing or simplifying this fraction here. Started with 2. If it has a partner, I reduce. If it doesn't, I keep it where it is. Move on to the variables, and I'm putting them in alphabetical order or descending order also. So x, y. Last but not least, 2. Does 2 have a partner? Negative divided by negative is positive. I'll keep 2 in the numerator. What about x? Does x have a partner? Nope. X is going to stay. What about the y's? Yep. 2 minus 2 is 0, so they reduce. And this is my final answer. Just 2 over x.
Why don't you add y?
You don't add because this is division, so you subtract. So 2 minus 2 is 0, so they reduce. Key points down here. These problems down here are, let them be easy. Okay, let it be easy. Usually you kind of try to overcomplicate it. Just let it be. It's simple. It's really easy. Start with the constant. Start with the coefficient, I mean. If it has a partner, just reduce it. If it doesn't, then just leave it. And move on to your variables. Subtract exponents. Put the variable wherever the highest exponent was. Okay, so take your warm-up, set it aside, and look at today's notes in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Guess what? These 3 points are the same 3 points I just wrote down on your warm-up. So these are the keys. These are the keys right here. The variable goes wherever you had the higher exponent. What's going on? Thank you. For example, look at number 8. Come up here. Come up here, please. I want you to be distracted. Okay, think you got an idea, Yasmin? Go ahead.
Okay. So it's gonna be positive 3, and gonna put it on the bottom.
Good.
And then it's gonna be a x to the second power, and gonna put it on the bottom.
The bottom?
Okay.
What do you mean? You mean down here?
Now, right there beside the positive 3.
Beside the positive 3, beside this positive 3?
Denominator.
The denominator, thank you. In the denominator, okay, keep going.
And you gonna x out the 2 y's.
Correct. What do you do about this? I have nothing in the numerator.
Put,
Is that okay? Can I just box it up and I'm done?
put X.
No.
No, you gotta put some more.
Yeah, but
X.
One.
what would you gonna say?
Gotta put a 1 there. If your fraction has no numerator, it does not exist. It's not a fraction. So if it has no numerator, you must put 1. Let's do one more of these multiplication problems. Look at number 12. It says 4x squared y to the 4th times 4x to the 4th y to the 4th. Okay. 8, no. 16. Multiply the coefficients, the big numbers.
16x to the
Add
Both sides,
16x to the
16.
6th power.
Now you're going to add the exponents.
Back to the 8th power.
I agree, Carlos.
I don't get this. What you put out there? 16. Oh, that's our else.
Done.
Oh, okay. You know what I get?
Okay, now take your paper and flip it over. Hard work. Now, you know this is all a setup, right? It's all a setup. This is all, these are all reminders. You did this last year. You did this at the beginning of your year with me. So this is all just review. Tomorrow is when the real fun begins. But here's the rest of what we got today. On the back, you need to simplify first and then reduce. So the numerator right here, we need to simplify. So let's simplify the numerator first. 2 times 3.
6.
Let's put a first, right? A to the what? A to the
2nd power.
8th?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I was just
I don't know what you're saying, Carlos.
oh yeah.
On number 19.
You plus it, and then it's gonna be b to the 4th time. No, 5th and 5th.
B to the 5th, yep. 4 plus 1, that's 5.
8 power.
So you got to remind yourself little things now. If the variable does not have an exponent, then the exponent is 1.
Over.
What do we do with this? Leave it the same. Now we reduce. So step 1, simplify the numerator and the denominator, then reduce. So 6 over 4, can you reduce that in your head? Maybe. But it's definitely easy to just take this and put it into your calculator. Six divided by -4, -3 over 2. Does it matter where the negative goes? No. Doesn't matter. It can be up in the numerator, it can be down in the denominator, it can be out front, out here, as long as there's only one negative sign.
So your answer equals 3 over 2.
But your answer equals
That's 3 over 2.
-3 over 2. And then what about these variables?
A, B, A to the 8th power.
A to the
4 power.
no.
You gotta add the exponent.
What do you do in a division problem?
Subtract it.
Subtract them.
5. So it's
So it's gonna be
A to the 8th power. A to the 6th power.
and then
Yeah. Look, 8 minus 2, right?
B to the 4th power. A to the 6th power.
It's going to be more like 8.
A to the 6th goes in the numerator or denominator?
No more.
No, right.
Numerator.
4.
B to the 4th power.
B to the 4th power. Okay, good. Done. So just go step by step, okay? First, simplify the numerator and the denominator. Then, simplify or reduce the coefficients. 6 divided by -4. Then, move on to your variables. A, B, C. Write your final answer. If there's no 1 in the numerator, put a 1 there. If there's nothing in the numerator, sorry, put a 1 there.
We gotta do number 27 too.
We're going to come on down now to the very bottom. And before we get into this, let me just ask you one quick question. You don't have to write this down. You can just kind of watch and listen. When I do a problem, or when I try to simplify this, what would I do? Yeah, you would claw. You would just distribute. That's all I would want you to do here, is just distribute and then maybe rearrange it, right? Put it in descending order. But when you distribute like this, you have 5 and 4. What do? Do you subtract them? What do you do?
Multiply.
Yeah, you multiply when you distribute. So guess what? I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to distribute this exponent outside to every exponent inside. And when I distribute, I need to multiply. So before you get started, don't start anything yet. First, we talked about examples where you add the exponents. Right? 2 plus 4 is 6. Then we did examples where you subtract exponents. That's when you have the fraction or division problem. This is the example of when you multiply exponents. When you have a power of a power. And you can always tell you have a power of a power because it'll be in parentheses. So you see how there's parentheses here and then an exponent outside? That means it's a power of a power. And when we do that, we multiply exponents. So watch what I do here. I'm going to distribute this exponent of 2 to every exponent inside. So this becomes negative 2 squared. 2 times 1. 2 times 1 is 2. This y will become y to the 6th. 2 times 3 is 6. And the z becomes 4. 2 times 2 is 4. The only thing that might have confused you there was the 2 here. But all you have to understand is that if it doesn't have an exponent, its exponent is 1. Okay, so 1 times 2 is 2.
So we're gonna put at the bottom, what?
What do you do with the denominator? Keep it. Now, let's go ahead and reduce, starting with our coefficients. So be careful here. What is negative 2 squared?
Negative 4.
No. Positive 4. Because it's negative 2 times negative 2. So positive 4. So be careful. So 4 over 2. How does that reduce? Take your calculator if you need to. Yeah, it's just 2. So keep it in the numerator and just put 2. Okay, what variable should we do next?
Multiply subtract the
The y's. 6 minus 2 is 4. Numerator or denominator? Yep. What about z? 4 minus 1 is 3.
And the z gonna give you what? Z gonna give you
Now,
4.
let me ask you one last question, and then we're done with this problem. What's 502 divided by 1? If I have 502 things and I divide them up into one group, what is it? 502. So if you divide anything by 1, guess what you're going to get?
I'll get it. I get it. I just want to go and check. C to the
5 million divided by 1 would just be 5 million. 17 divided by 1 would just be 17. So 2y to the 4th z cubed divided by 1 is 2y to the 4th z cubed. Okay, one more. Number 27. You tell me how to do this one, starting with Corderis.
What day is it?
2 PR, yeah.
2 PR.
Yeah. It's on your paper too.
Two PR to 4. I mean 2.
2 squared p squared, it's not negative, r to the 4th. So I distributed the 2 to everything. Everything in the denominator.
Hold on. How you get 2? Hold on. I see how you got the 2 to the second pound. How you get P to the second pound? You gotta add 2, you gotta times 2 times P too. 2 times P and 2 times R.
P's exponent is 1. So 2 times 1 is 2.
It's gonna always be like this though.
I don't know what you mean by always going to be like that, but this is how you do it.
Now like that,
Yes.
Okay, that's all I need to know. See. Okay. I see how you got that.
What about this? What would you do here? 5 to the 8th? X to the 8th? No.
Y to the 1. Right, too. That's crazy. That is crazy, bro.
One more?
I'll get smart a little bit. I want to quit.
Seven.
Eight.
Okay. So you just distribute the exponent. When you distribute, you multiply. All right, 2pr squared stays the same in the numerator. What do we reduce to here? 2 over 4, right? 2 over 4, so that reduces to 1/2. All I did there was 2 divided by 4, 1/2.
No, because you got to multiply the big number by the small.
No, 2 squared is 4. 2 squared means 2 times 2. What about the p's? Yep, 2 minus what? 2 minus 1 is 1. Does it go in the numerator or the denominator? Denominator, because that's where it was highest. What else? So r squared, or r to the second, you can say, also in the denominator. Done. Okay, like I said, don't try to overcomplicate it. It's simple stuff. Let it be simple. Let it stay simple. Good chance to practice today, and then tomorrow we get into the fun. It's really not that hard. I just like to make it seem like it is. Because then it's more fun. Big parentheses just means you distribute to everything in parentheses.
Like 2 gonna go to the 3.
2 is going to go to A, B, and C,
In the bottom.
and A,
Oh.
and B. Simple. Let it be simple. Okay, let it stay easy.
And keep it, now this is negative one. So they read 1/3.
All right, once you get to work, get started on your homework, you have about 12 minutes to go and get started. You probably can get everything done.